There's something that separates normal drone footage from epic drone footage, and it's actually only something that you can fix in the editing room. Any idea what it is? Well, I'm going to show you two sequences of the same clips, and one of these sequences will have had this technique applied to it, where the other one won't have done. Now see if you can tell the difference and see if you can guess what it is. Let's roll the clips. Any final guesses on what it was? Well, if you guessed sound design, you are 100% right. You see, the first clip had a really poor choice of music and almost no sound design in the background, where the second clip, much better choice of music, lots of sound design coming in, making the clips just feel more natural, more impactful, and just way better than the first one. So the reason that sound design is so important for us, especially with drones, is because DJI drones like this don't record any sound. So you have to add all the sounds that you would normally feel within the scene in post-production. And FPV drones, when you stick a GoPro on the top of them, the sound on that just sounds like this. And that is not very cinematic, not very pleasing for the audience, and is not what we want when it comes to sound design. So sound design relates to anything you do in post-production to add sounds that are going to emphasize the impact of your video. The choice of music, first of all, is going to be very key in sound design. Are you going to have background music? You're going to have no music. If you're going to have music, make sure it's something that's appropriate, something that's more cinematic, more epic. Don't play something that's like cheesy, just classic stock music that you get from anywhere, because it's just going to pull your drone footage down from the level that it could have been if you just picked the right music. And if you want a recommendation, I get all of my music through Artlist. They have loads of tracks, loads of sound effects as well, which is really key when it comes to getting a really good sound design going on with your footage. So how do we actually decide what sounds we want to add to our footage? Well, basically you want to just go back to when you were in the location you were in and try and just remember what were all the natural sounds that were present. And if you can't remember, just use your imagination. Like here, I'm by the beach. What's the most prominent sound you're going to hear by the beach? It's going to be the sound of the ocean and the waves. So if you've got drone footage by the sea, make sure to add some sounds of waves coming in. And if your drone is getting closer to the waves, make sure the sound of the waves increases as you get closer. And if you're getting further away from the waves, make sure the sound of the waves decreases. Same with a waterfall. If you're by a waterfall, it's another great one. Silent footage at a waterfall does not exist. You've got the sound of the water crashing down into the water below it. And if the waterfall is in a rainforest, you're also going to hear natural sounds of the rainforest. You've got the birds, the animals, maybe some frogs. Add these little things into footage. These tiny details just really help to elevate your footage. See, the thing is with sound design, the more detailed it becomes and the more layers you have, the more effective it's going to be for your footage. So say again, if you're on the beach and a dog runs past, you can just add in the subtle sound of a dog barking. Or if you're going past a group of people, you can add in some general chatter sounds. Another good one, if you're doing a drone shot in and around a city, you can add some city ambience, the sound of cars, beeping, things like this, taxis. All of these sounds added into the footage are just going to help to make it feel more authentic. But there's one thing you really need to bear in mind whilst you're doing your sound design, and it's not to overdo it. Now, it's pretty difficult to overdo it by just adding in natural sounds, but you can overdo it by having the volume set incorrectly. You have to balance everything properly. So you don't want the sound of some things to be overly loud when in real life they wouldn't be that loud. And if you're a bit unsure, err on the side of having things a little bit quieter than you would expect, because if they're more subtle, you sort of recognize them more subconsciously, and it just makes you go, ooh, that was nice. But if something is just too loud and in your face, the dog barking like goes through your ear when you fly past it, something like that would not have been realistic, and it just helps to pull down the level of your footage, where you could be elevating it just by making those sounds more balanced and more natural. Something else you can do with sound design is you have more creative control. So you can do something that's called creative sound design, which is where you add sounds into the scene that wouldn't be there naturally, but because of something in the scene, it makes that sound feel correct. Now, a good example of this is, say you have a bird that flies past your drone whilst you're doing the shot. You could add the sound of the bird squawking, which is going to be the natural sound, and then creative sound design, you could add a whoosh, so that as the bird comes across the camera, you get a whoosh, And that is kind of creative sound design. Another one that you can sort of do for this is, say if the sun reflects off something, you can create that sort of nice sparkly glinting kind of sound, sort of the shing, you know? I don't know how to describe it. I'll overlay a sound effect if I've got one in my library. But yeah, you know what I mean? These types of things can just help to make things feel a little bit different, make things a bit more special. See, they're not natural sounds, but it's creative sound design. Sound design also has a very powerful key role in driving emotion in your footage. See, the choice of sounds and music you're gonna pick really gonna help to change the tone of your video. So if you want something to feel more relaxed, more soothing, having a really sort of calm classical track is gonna help to drive this emotion, along with sort of calmer, more gentle sound effects in the background. Or if you want something that's more impactful, more high energy, more dynamic, you're gonna wanna pick a much more epic sounding track. You're gonna wanna add in sound effects that are much more punchy, much more effective. And doing these types of things just really help to change the feeling of emotion that's coming across in your videos. So the thing is, with sound design, it really does take a lot of practice in order to get it right. And once you start playing with it, your mind will start to run away with different ideas you're having on how to make the videos sound even better. So I've got a challenge for you. I want you to head out somewhere, go and film a piece of footage, try to think and remember all the different sounds that were present at the time when you were filming the footage. If it helps, take your phone out and just take a little clip. Then you can listen back and you can hear all the natural sounds that were there in the scene. And then take a look at your drone footage, have a look and see what's going on in the scene of your shots, and try and add those sounds in post-production, and then pick appropriate music to suit it. Or you don't have to pick music at all, you can just go purely sound effects. Once you start to learn and develop the skill even further, it's going to become much easier to add sound design to your drone footage, and you're going to see a massive difference in the production quality of your footage following your sound design. Once you start to learn and develop your skills with sound design, it's going to become much easier over time to just add the natural sounds, the creative sounds that are going to take your drone footage to the next level. Now, thank you so much for watching. If you want to know some more creative drone shots you can use, this video right here is going to give you 10 cinematic drone shots that I use every single time I fly. Go and check that one out. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.